Respected faculty members, good morning to all of you. Today is third day of our HTTP Innovation and Startup. We have expert faculty member today, Dr. Prachi Pandey ma'am. Uh, she has done PhD from Gujarat Technological University and BPharm and MPharm from BITS Pilani. She is expert faculty because she has also done register patent and also she has filed around 14 patents and she is registered patent agent and also SSIP coordinator. So it is very good for us that she has accepted our invitation for expert session. So I'm not wasting much of time because 1 hour is quite not sufficient, but simple knowledge around about the intellectual property that we will grasp from this lecture. So, madam, you are requested to start the session.
Good morning, everyone, to all the faculty members. I'm extremely thankful to Government Engineering College Patan and especially to Hitesh Panchal sir for organizing such useful programs. Really, it's a good discussion platform on intellectual property rights. And I hope you all will get an insight into protecting the intellectual property in India. So, just in start, I just want to say that intellectual property is an inherent part of innovation. So because India is now the third largest tech innovation in the world, the protecting intellectual property becomes very mandatory for everyone. Because once we do innovation, it's very necessary that it should be protected and it should not be infringed, it should not be used or abused. So that's why there are some ways by which we can protect is by filing patent or by trademark and by copyright. There are three facets of intellectual property which in different ways protect our intellectual property. So we will go through how it acts. So copyright is governed by the Copyright Act 1957, whereas Trademark Act 1999 and Patent Act 1970. It's a very like huge demarcation. It's like copyright protects the literary work, dramatic work, even computer softwares, written SOPs. Trademark protects anything which is very unique to the particular company, particular startup. Actually, we as SSIP coordinators promote the student startup. We are very much aware that whenever they become a founder of a company, then their company must be unique. So they can make it unique by the way of giving it certain kind of trademark in the form of logo, shape, color, name, like this. Whereas patent is for innovation, which have the three basic criteria. Is like they should be novel, means not done before, not reported in prior art, either by prior claiming, prior publication, or by prior use. This is a must for any innovation. Innovation means modification in the existing invention and making it more industrially applicable, more unique, and more novel. Copyright validity is for till the lifetime of the author plus 60 years more. Means it is like for lifetime as well as for the future generation it can also work. Trademark, the validity is 10 years, which could be renewed further. Whereas for patent, the validity is 20 years, starting from the date of application, means from the priority dating. So it's a territorial right. But yes, suppose if we file patent in India, we definitely can market our product in India. But it should not be claimed anywhere in the world. This is important because once it is claimed, it become a prior art and then it cannot be granted because then it falls in the category of non-patentable invention if it is reported. But definitely it is a territorial right, and if we get our product patented in a single country, so in that country nobody else can market beside us. So that is important. And symbolic representation, you all know it is the C for copyright, R for trademark when registration is complete, otherwise TM. For patent, there is no symbolic representations. We all know copyright secures the literary work, trademark is for brands, and patent is for innovation. For copyright, there is no provisional application required. In trademark, actually, the basic thing is the trademark search. Based on trademark search, the qualification of trademark depends, and can get granted. Whereas for patent, a provisional application must be made, and within 12 months, we have to file the complete specification. This is very important to say about the startups. Is like for startup, the government, our PM Narendra Modi has given so many opportunities that they have a 80% rebate on the filing fees. So they just pay 1600 as compared to companies which pay nearly 8000. Means like it just 80% of rebate. For early publication, they have to just pay 2500 by filling the form 9. For companies, it is little bit higher. They can go for the expedited examination, in which examination can be completed in 105 days only by just paying 8000 and by filling the form 18A, as compared to companies which pay more higher. So this is the benefit. And also, if the startup couldn't complete their work, there is a 90% refund of patent fee, but only before the first examination report is issued. Means like if you file the request for examination, and before receiving the first examination report, you till that time you can withdraw. If I'm just talking about the startup that we actually promote for students. And the last point is not for patent, but yeah, there is a tax exemption for 3 years after founding of the company. So why a provisional? This is very important. This is a key because their benefits are numerous. Because once we file a provisional, we get a priority dating, and we have a buffer time of 12 months to decide. But yes, we cannot go beyond provisional. What we claim in provisional, our complete will be totally dependent on that. If we claim something else incomplete, then the priority dating will become the date on which the complete was filed. I think everybody is getting my point. Suppose my innovation is something, and based on that, in 12 months I'm elaborating it. But if I'm claiming something else, definitely means that it doesn't have the priority dating as I claimed earlier, because I found it later. So the day become the priority dating. So it is very important that we must draft the claims, even if we don't file claim, while filing for provisional application, because those draft claims will later become the final claims. And because the complications are that if suppose our complete specification is little bit different from provisional, and it is depicting that there are 2 or 3 innovations combined together, the examiner may say you to file divisional application. They may feel that you are capturing 2 3 innovations in a single fee, simple thing. So they will say you to file different applications. So that may be the case. So just we have to be very sure that once we file the provisional, our complete will be dependent on our provisional. So at least we should be very much aware what we are going to do and what we will get. If we get it, it's okay. If we don't get it, that's also okay, because the wastage of money will not be there. If we don't be able to complete our work within 12 months and our claims are not ready, so what we can do, we can post date the application. Because if we don't post date it, our application will be deemed to be abandoned, because there is a time limit of 12 months. So we can post date it, and the date of filing the complete specification now will become the date of provisional. And now we have 12 more months, 12 extra months to work upon and to complete our project and to submit it. But the disadvantage is that you will have you will be back by 12 months. So if somebody else has done it earlier than you, then you may lose the right. That is the only thing. So the scope of invention is very important. That should be well defined in the provisional application, and a rough set of claim must be done. So what forms are there? I think we all know it. We are doing it. So form 1 for application, form 2 for provisional. Form 2 is also for complete specification whenever we include the claims in that. Form 5, declaration of inventorship, when applicant is not the inventor. Somewhere applicant is someone else, inventor is somebody else. So here the declaration of inventorship is must. Form 26 is has to be filed whenever a patent agent files on behalf of you. So you have to give the power of attorney to him. Then e-filing fees is just 1600, whereas physical filing fee is 1750. Um, Yeah, it's very important that whenever we file our patent, we have to give a declaration that we have not filed it outside India. So declaration of foreign filing must be done in the form 3 along with some drawings and illustrations. Drawing is why, because if we design something, we have to explain it in the form of a proper sketch, label it thoroughly, name the parts, and in the claim we have to include that number in which that part is labeled. Suppose number 5 is labeling for a particular type of machine component. In the claim we have to mention the number 5. So the design must be very elaborate so that it cannot be copied. It should be very much unique. So every part should be labeled and claimed. So there are many steps of patent filing. So first is the idea incubation. We have to understand what our idea is, what are the advantage, what are the elements, components. We have to make a full flow chart, how my innovation is going on and what will it produce. And what are the competitors, what are the market products, because patent search is very important here. That comes the patentability search. Why we do? Because we have to find out that we are novel first of all, then only we can be granted a patent. We should be non-obvious first. Means like it should not be that it could be done very easily and there is no any human intervention or any technical advancement involved, then patent office consider it as a very obvious thing. So it's very important that we can prove that there, without any human intervention, it cannot be done. Really inventive steps are involved. And yes, industrially applicable means it should be done many times, and every time we are getting the same results. So while in production, whenever our product goes in the production or in the large scale manufacturing, there should not be any deviations in the batches. So the product must be reproducible. That is important. So patentability search, why we do is like first of all we find out what has been done and how we can add up inventive steps, how we can make it better than the earlier. If it is the same as the earlier, or we are using the components which are functioning the same as the earlier, we are again falling in the doctrine of equivalence. Means like if you are using some component and the equivalent component is already being used, so we cannot prove like our component is really bringing the benefit. So in that case also patent office may not grant you the patent. Is the case. So definitely it should have a proper human intervention, should be totally non-obvious, simple meaning. Non-obviousness is important. Then we have to go over the patent drafting where we disclose it. So how to disclose is like it should be disclosing and capturing both. So while drafting the claims, if you are incorporating lot many equivalent components, so definitely those all will work functionally the same and you are having a right over all those. And you have to be a little bit narrow also, because if you are too much broad, again patent office will say that you are suppose I'm just giving an example of Marcus claim. Marcus claim means there is a structure which is including, suppose I'm talking about a steroid. So all kind of drugs, medicines which have that structure is covered under the claim. In the same way, if you are using anything which is covering lot many things, so definitely patent office will say do something new. Why to cover so much and just increase the number of innovations? No, you have to do something new. So definitely the best mode must be given in your claims. Best mode means, yeah, this can be done, but what is the best mode? If best mode is not disclosed, there may be objections raised by the examiner. This is very important here. Filing, we all know that time is less than 1 day whenever filed online. In the that during COVID-19, the physical filing is I think after March 15 only they have closed it. So they're not receiving it. They are just receiving applications by e-filing only. And yeah, but those who have filed by physical filing, actually they have not even received the priority number. But yeah, definitely there is nothing to worry. They have noted it down and they will notify soon. They might have, you might have got the priority number, but you might not have received it. That might be the case. So online filing is very important. It takes up less than 1 day. And once you get the priority number, then after that you can even publish your innovation. So this is important. So publication must be done for academic projects, but after after patent filing, once you get the priority date or number, after that you can go to conferences, you can go for publication, you can do anything, because now you have the priority number. But yes, again I'm saying the provisional what you have filed within 12 months your complete must be dependent on that. There is one more thing. If suppose we have like displayed our project somewhere in a conference or in a proceeding, still there is a provision that within 12 months we have to file the patent and novelty will not be lost. So there is a time of still 12 months. Like even after displaying, if you file, then it would be accepted. Publication is important. There is no fee for publication. If it is a normal publication, it takes about 18 months. But if you want to get the patent early, we have to file for the request for early publication by filling form 9, prescribed fee of 2,500 for startup or individual entities. If we are through organization, again the fee become high. If we file through college or through organization, it will become higher. Request for examination is done, but it should be done within 48 months from the filing date. So still there is enough time, but you can file it very early also. Means just after publication also you can file the request for examination, and the process gets complete within 105 days. But for that we have to pay the 4,000. So I can say normally it is said that patent you can get in 6 years, but I can just give you a time, 1 day of online filing. Then once it is filed, and you have filed the complete specification along with the claims, just after that you can go for the request for publication. It will take about 1 month maximum, and 1 or 2 months maximum time. And after that examination, you can file the request for examination. Once it get published, it will take 105 days, means 3 months. So I think in 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months, a patent can be granted if it is done in a very prompt way. Response to objection is very important. If you have done a very good patentability search and at least at one point you are sure that you are novel, then at least half work is done. You are not infringing others. This is important, and you are not falling in any criteria in the section 3 that are the non-patentable inventions. So in the non-patentable inventions, there are many ways by which it can be said, such as it must not be a scientific theory, it must not be a similar form of earlier reported thing, it must not be unnatural things, means like against the morality, against the scientific theories. It must not be just a mere combinations. It should be something novel. It must not be just a mere rearrangements of objects. There are many ways by which you can just pass it. Means you have to check it thoroughly. So then there are chances that you can get. But yeah, once you file the request for examination, only after filing the request for examination, your application is open to objections. That is the pre-grant opposition. And if somebody objects it, normally that party is not involved in pre-grant opposition, but those points are considered. So based on those points, the examiner may ask you, and you have to answer it. So if they are satisfied within 3 to, like it takes about 3 to 4 months, if they are satisfied, they can grant. Otherwise, they can like ask for telecon also. If they are still not satisfied, they can call you to the patent office to plead, and then you have a full chance to justify your project. There are again more chances. They outright, they do not reject it. They can say you for amendments. So if you can go for amendments, definitely after amending it, they may accept. So there are chances that it may be normally granted. So once you satisfy the controller, examiner and controller, the patent is granted to you, and the date of grant is registered in the register of patents along with your full details. Now you have the right for 20 years. So suppose you have like it takes about 6 months or 1 year for a patent to be granted. You have 19 years of market exclusivity, and nobody can prepare the same product. Yeah, modified product or a better product can be made. So I'm just telling in a brief. First we file a patent application with complete specification we can file, or if we file a provisional, we have to file the complete within 12 months. Otherwise it will deem to be abundant. Then it will be published. After 18 months or through expedited application, we can publish it. Then we can file a request for examination. If it is open, then pre-grant opposition can be done. After that, examination, the first examination report is issued, and we have to comply with the objections. Normally, objections should be met within 6 to 9 months. You can do it early also, in 1 month, 15 days also, if you have the right, like all the data in a mannered in a right way. So I just suggest the students that whenever you do any project, you have to write each and every point that you have done today. Put the date, put the time, put your signature, take the signature of your guide, and make it like a lab journal, lab manual. So you have the proper like justification that on this date, on this time, manually I have done this. And yeah, they are very good whenever answering your objections. So within 6 months, you have to be very like sure. And yeah, if you are not meeting the objections, it will be abandoned. Otherwise, it will be granted. So, patent filing, just a brief overview of the trademark that I'm giving is like a registered trademark, unregistered trademark, and unregistered service marks have such type of marks, means R, T, M, and SM. Suppose whenever we prepare a product and now we have set up a company, then we are somewhere we think that somebody else may maybe a founder of the same kind of company, and they can prepare some other product, but they can sell you, and they can pretend that this is the product of your company. So suppose the Lakme is a very branded company, and somebody with the name Likeme comes like that. So consumer may get confused. So it's very important that whenever we make a trademark, it should be coined word. It should be very distinctive. It should not match with anything else. So Gluvita, Gluco, these are the actually cases which have gone till Supreme Court, and the decision were given. The Gluvita was given, Glucovita was opposed, Wipro passed, Ipro another, Ipro. So these are the things which the normal consumer use, and they can get confused. So they were not allowed. Again, the visual similarity, such as Kingfisher bird of McDowell, and another bird was also introduced. But Kingfisher was such a big brand that everybody wanted to copy that. So in that case, Supreme Court gave decision in favor of Kingfisher and said that nobody can else use the same bird as their logo. Again, the idea, like if some company sells the product in names of Watermatic, Aquamatic cannot be used, because again, they're kind of confusion. Like they are the same products. Surya, Sun. In the case of drug, Crocin, you all know, it's very common. Crocinex was also there. Crocinex was now barred. It's banned. So, but yeah, in the prescription drug, which is being sold on prescription of a registered medical practitioner only, and where the consumer cannot directly buy it, it is given only by the pharmacist after seeing the prescription, it is allowed, such as Jexet, Mexet. Both are anti-cancer drugs, and it cannot be purchased directly by consumer. So, yeah, there is no any chance of confusion. So that's why it was allowed, but OTC drug, any such kind of product which normal consumer buy, should not be same in appearance, logo, word, anything. And this is very important. Whenever you design a product, you shouldn't elaborate it. Suppose if I'm preparing like I'm selling ice cream and naming it as a cold and creamy, then it become a kind of like elaboration that others don't do. So the name should be very different. You can like have more Sundays like this. Again, we cannot elaborate something which is giving, suppose we are preparing a cooking oil and naming it as a rasoi. Earlier, yeah, it was allowed, but nowadays it is banned. It is not there. So Fortune cooking oil. It's very, it shouldn't be defining the nature of the product. It shouldn't be any name or surname of a person except the earlier ones, which are very branded, and like from long back they are using it, such as Godrej. They nobody else now can sign it like Godrej, but nowadays it is barred. We cannot use our name as a trademark, but for Godrej it is allowed, because it was such a big brand that if it changes right now, or normally the reputation will get lost. So that's why geographical name is also not allowed. But yeah, except doctrine of prior art, There are such renowned products, Nilgiris, Nagarjunan fertilizers, that they are allowed. Some trademarks are allowed if two products are so diverse that likelihood of confusion is not possible, such as Kodak. Kodak, you all know, it's for camera, but Kodak Cycle was allowed because they're two diverse products. If you are using some camera and if you are using some pro cam or something different, or we are using something related to photography, they are falling in the same class of trademark. But cycle and photography are two very different classes, so it was allowed. Caltex watches, then in South India clothes in name of Bata. But yeah, there is one option where two companies enter in a user agreement. They take royalty from another company and allow their name to use, such as Titan Oil, Philip Carriol watches, BT and Wipro agreement for Wipro BT. So these are some, once agreement is done, the other company is free to use that. So, but careful protection is very important because sometimes what happens is like when the product becomes very famous, very common, it becomes a verb like Googling or Xerox, Xeroxing. Actually, Xerox is nothing. It's a brand of like copying machine, but now it has become a kind of generic word. So it happens now. Word mark, you all have seen, like it has a word. Letter mark, PNG, BBC. Slogan could also be there. Composite marks, wherever these are very strong marks actually. Composite mark where the name is also there and some design is there. Color marks are important. Shape mark, it's very unique for Coca-Cola bottle. Even sound mark, you all have these Hollywood movies, you all have know this line roaring like this sound mark where a smell mark played up for that. So these are like Apple. So these are some of the marks by which the product could have given a very unique shape, unique smell, unique sound, and can make it very unique, different from others. Service mark is what whenever product is not there, but it is related to some service, such as courier service, airline service, any Microsoft, it is denoted by SM. It is not representing goods, but a service. Collective marks means like a particular brand of company. Whenever their branches are spread in like all over India or all over the world, they have a certain kind of compliance, and there are certain kind of standards that every branch should meet it. So there is a compliance standard, and this could be represented in terms of even the employee can wear the T-shirt of Reliance Communication or Tata Sons. So it is very certain that they are following certain norms, certain standards. But yeah, this is a closed shop principle because the norms are set by the Reliance Communication only, whereas in the certification mark, it's an open shop kind of, where standards are set by government. ISO, ISI, FSSAI, and if some company is complying to the standards of those set standard, then it is definitely said to be a good good brand or like complying to the standards. So certification mark is that is especially for food products, it is there. For trademark, it is very important because search is the only important part. Here, the provisional filing is not there. So we have to go in the site of trademark. It is there in the ipindia.nic.in only, where we can go in the trademark. We can go for the public search. And in the quick information, we can get in the form, fees, and all such kind of guidelines. There is very important class detail. That is the first part, like first thing that is given. Classes, there are many classes. In the class 1, photography is there. Class 2, some like motorbikes is there. So when I search with the class 1 and added the Kodak, I have seen only the photographic things. So it's very certain that Kodak was for this, and in the class 1, I'm getting this thing. So definitely trademark has been registered. Fees for filing trademark is 5,000 for physical filing, whereas 4,500 for e-filing. So if search is complete and you are submitting a search report, then and saying that my product is not there in the search of trademark, it is unique. Uniqueness is proved on the basis of search only. So steps, first we apply for that. Application number is allotted to us. Then it goes for Vienna codification. It's nothing but an agreement done at Vienna, and there is a code number given to the trademark applied. then it is examined. Examination is also based on, it is not reported earlier. It should not be like the same cases. It should not be elaborating the type of product. It should not be distinct, like describing the nature of the product like this. Then if some objections is